Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So, I've received this question: what is REIT, and is it the right time to invest in REIT? Here, I'll be giving you the most simplest definition of REIT, and let's understand it in a very simple way. REIT is basically the mutual funds for real estate. Not everyone is a smart investor, and people often make mistakes while buying the right kind of real estate. So, basically, you pay your money to a trust, and the trust in return buys the right kind of real estate. The rental yields which come in, they are then divided among the investors in form of dividends. It's a very simple model, exactly how a mutual fund functions. So basically, REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. Before we answer the question if it's the right time to invest, let us look at some of the advantages of REIT. Number one, it is less capital intensive. As we all know, the ticket size of good quality commercial real estate property can go into few crores at the least. It becomes too difficult for most people to invest in higher end yielding real estate. To invest through REIT, one needs to buy shares of REIT in multiples of 200, as the minimum buy lot is 200. Let's say the current share price is 350 rupees. That means you need to invest a sum of at least 70,000 rupees considering the current pricing. Number two, it's quite easy. You are only a tap away from making your first investment in real estate through your securities app. Number three, you have assured dividends. REITs generate income in form of dividends. REIT dividend payment is relatively assured. Why? Because most of their income is in form of rental or lease income, and the related policies are mandated and regulated by SEBI. And lastly, because of capital appreciation. As Embassy REIT is first of its kind in India, its capital appreciation in next 5 or 7 years can be phenomenal. Also, generally, commercial real estate properties appreciate 4 to 6% year on year on an average, apart from the 7 to 8% of rental yield. So the question is it the right time to buy REIT? We will need to understand the business realities and granular technicalities from the annual report. The information displayed is for Q4 financial year 2020 and is taken from the official website. It is available for public reference under the Investor Relations. Here we can see that the assets owned by the trust are located across 4 major cities. However, the main points to look for here are number 1, the occupancy, which looks pretty decent, but it shall be subject to change in the coming months. 42% rents come from Fortune 500 companies, and it is exposed to about 15% debt with respect to its total enterprise value, which is again pretty decent. Out of the total portfolio, the company report states that only 6% of the total occupiers belong to the directly impacted sectors by COVID-19. In my opinion, the balance 94% has major portions of technology and consulting companies, which total to around 70% of the portfolio. Since many of these companies shall encourage work from home and remote working policies, these companies shall be no different in trying to cut possible costs, as all businesses are affected to a certain extent. A major contribution of the income comes from the commercial office sector, and as I said earlier, these companies shall reduce unnecessary spaces and cut occupancy costs. Speaking of the hospitality sector, it has been completely disrupted and it shall take few years to recover. Now, a major factor to consider shall be that about 10% of rent agreements are expiring in 2 years, and in my opinion, these tenants shall negotiate hard for better rates and might even relocate to other projects if needed. Also, the 30% markup to market rates shall have no significant leverage as of now, because the market rates they shall drop. Rather, even the in-place rents might come down in few cases. Here, I'd like to highlight that 2020 it had been a great year for REIT. The NAV increased to about 375. What does this really mean? It means that if the current share price is 350, for example, you are paying 350 rupees to buy an asset worth 375. But let's not forget, this reflects the Q4 asset value and does not include the positive or the negative changes which have followed. So had it been the case that there was no COVID-19, then this would have been a great avenue for investment. It had indeed been a very healthy year for REIT, as we can see here. The current cash balance, it looks very healthy. The bond rating is AAA, which is the highest rating in the CRISIL credit rating scale. Debt obligations in 2 years, they don't look too heavy. But a major debt repayment shall be due in financial year 2023. Generally speaking, it shall be a matter of concern if the 2 years aren't taken care of efficiently or strategically. We can note here that the company year-on-year growth, it looks very decent. But again, this is the past quarter. A lot of shifts have taken place in the quarter 1 financial year 2021. So in my opinion, it shall be a better idea to just wait and watch. The Q4 results were good, but it was rather not as good as the Q3 results. COVID-19 scenario, liquidity crunch, and work from home policies coupled together hit the growth rate of REIT. The trend shows a consecutive 2-day decline in the stock price by nearly 6% after the quarter result, and that sentiments have been rather pessimistic in the market.
So to sum it up, I don't believe it's the right time to invest in REIT. I would rather wait for the next quarter results and see how the lockdown unfolds in the tier 1 cities of India. Having said all of this, I also believe that REIT is a very good instrument for the small ticket investors to invest in real estate. REIT has given dividends up to 8 to 9% on an average. And considering a 20% correction in the rental yield and the market conditions as we discussed, I think the right price to enter into the REIT would be 280 to 300, and keeping in mind a long time horizon of at least 5 years. So guys, that's all for now, and I hope you liked the video. So please leave your suggestions in the comments, and if there are any questions you want me to answer or explain, I'll be very happy to do it. Keep asking and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.